Water is a new film you probably haven't heard of, but you definitely should. Stars Chris Pine, Ben Foster, Jeff Bridges, and Gil Birmingham. And it's about these two brothers, played by Pine and Foster, who are robbing several different banks of their money. Not everything they have, not the people's money that they have saved up in there, just the money that the bank has in their counters, and they're trying to raise a certain amount for reasons that I will not spoil. And these two rangers, played by Jeff Bridges and Gil Birmingham, while quipping back and forth with each other, are trying to find out who's robbing the banks and to stop them. I first saw the trailer for this movie in front of Jason Bourne, and from the looks of it, I thought it looks pretty good, but it doesn't look like anything that'll probably be remembered, because those kind of movies do exist, movies that get some pretty good praise, like maybe during Oscar season, but maybe it wasn't as wide released, and not too many people saw it, so it just kind of gets forgotten by the end of the year. However, upon viewing the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie, I realized I was dead wrong. It has a 98% right now on Rotten Tomatoes, and many people I know have been praising this movie, so I immediately wanted to go see it even more than I originally wanted to, so I saw it with my dad a couple days ago, and this movie was so surprisingly fan-frickin-tastic. But there's a specific reason why it is, because upon first glance a lot of people might go, well, that's just about two bank robbers and two police guys trying to catch them. We've seen this before, and though that is true, there's one big thing that makes it better than just that average movie, and it's the characters. The characters in this movie are some of the most well-realized characters of the entire year. Not only well-realized, but realistic. They have motivation, they feel like actual people in the real world, and I cannot praise not only the screenplay, but the director for doing such a fantastic job of making this movie actually feel like it could be happening right now. It could have been just so easy to do everything like so Hollywood, have people be involved in fight scenes every few seconds, have explosions, intense car chases away from banks, but there's actually little action in this film. There's only a couple moments near the end of the movie, and even the bank robbery scenes, there isn't really anything action-heavy going on. It just feels real. Whenever a bank robbery scene was taking place, it felt like an actual bank robbery, like that actually might happen in the real world. In fact, it probably has happened exactly like this. It felt that real, and even when the action kind of picks up near the finale of this movie, it's not big Hollywood action. It's literally just so simple. But it's simple in the best way possible. It sells the realism. However, I gotta say, even though I am a sucker for a good action moment or anything like that, the best part about this movie was its plot. Even though it is a very dialogue-driven movie, very much more a character study, it is so riveting, mainly because of the characters that we get to meet. You have the robbers and the rangers. You see both sides, and you're really interested in both of them. Mainly the brothers, Ben Foster and Chris Pine, were excellent in this film. They really sold me that they actually were connected. They actually felt like real-life brothers. And Ben Foster, I gotta say, he impressed me a lot in this movie. And I'm kind of mixed with Ben Foster. I liked him in Lone Survivor 3 years ago, but The Mechanic and Warcraft, not a fan. In this movie, though, this might be the best performance I've seen from him. He is honestly that incredible in this film. He felt like a completely different person. But Chris Pine, even more so, felt completely different. Because even though I do like him in some of the bigger action movie roles, like Captain Kirk in Star Trek, but this movie, his performance might be his best one, because it is very subdued. He doesn't ever break out into a huge emotional speech or anything like that. He rarely yells unless they're driving away super fast in the car and he has to yell so Ben Foster can hear him. He mainly talks in a low voice. He's very subdued, very relaxed. Having Chris Pine's character be the more level-headed guy out of the brothers really did work for this film, and it actually, I hate to keep saying this, but I have to, it sold the realism of how this could happen in the real world, because the characters do feel real. Also, they feel real because they each have motivation. Chris Pine, I think, more than Ben Foster, but both of them have motivation behind them. They both have reasons for doing what they're doing, and it honestly makes you go, well, I hate that you're robbing banks and putting some people in danger, but I can't see where you're coming from. But also the Rangers in this movie. I honestly kept flipping back from rooting for the brothers, but then going right back to the Rangers to catch them, because all of the characters were so good in this film. And it's not because they're all likable, because as I mentioned, the brother characters are doing some pretty bad things. It's mainly just because of how interesting they are, how riveting their motivations are, how their performances are just so good. And Jeff Bridges and Gil Birmingham are no exception. These two together were awesome, quipping back and forth. That was hysterical. That's some of the funniest stuff I have seen all year. And it's not a comedy. I just want to get that out of the way. There's some comedy moments, but overall it's not a comedy. But whenever they do have a sense of humor, it's really funny. The Rangers, I gotta be honest, even though I love the brothers, they honestly almost stole the show. In fact, if they made a movie just with these two characters the whole time, I probably would love it just as much as this movie. I had one nitpick with this film walking out, but due to some reflection, that nitpick actually went away. Without spoiling anything, I'll say that I basically caught on rather quickly to what the movie was kind of hinting was going to happen later on. And when they did do that thing that I predicted, I was like, well, I hoped you would have done something a little bit more unpredictable. But I looked at it this way. Some people have mentioned it recently, and I've been like, you know what? Yeah, that's true. Does it work for the movie? Yes, something can be predictable in a movie, but if it works, then that's still good. And even though that thing, I wish they would have done something a little bit different, because I've seen that kind of thing in other things before, it still works for the movie, and the reaction to it honestly was a little... I can't say what feeling it gave me, because that's kind of a spoiler, but the feeling was there. So guys, at first glance, this movie might not seem like that much to you, but seriously, go out and see this movie. It's so riveting, so interesting, especially with its characters. The performances are excellent. These guys, like Chris Pine, Ben Foster, Jeff Bridges, Gilbert, they need to be, they gotta be nominated for something. At least Chris Pine for Best Actor or something. Heck, I'll take Ben Foster too. At least nominate them. They were so impressive in this movie. I'm gonna give Hell or High Water an A+. I didn't expect to give that rating when I first saw the trailer for this movie back in July. And I gotta say, I'm honestly shocked about how much I ended up loving this movie. It honestly was so incredible. But if you've seen Hell or High Water, leave in the comments below of what you thought of it. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.